Hello and welcome to this edition of 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. I'm Lorna Virgili. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Mr. Leggett. How are you?
Very well. How are you today?
Good, good. How's the beginning of the year for you?
Well, it's been a little challenging, but there are some good things about the year. Well, thus far we have not had the kind of weather challenges we've had in the past, but overall it's been a good year.
Fingers crossed.
Yes,
This
fingers
time
crossed.
last year we had already about, what, 38 inches of
Not
snow?
quite that many, but quite a few snow at this time of this year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You started the year very active, as you do every year, hosting the budget forums throughout the county, FY18 precisely. And it's always very interesting when you get to hear from county residents directly what are their concerns, ideas, and so forth. What has been the common concern denominator this year?
Well, first of all, I'm delighted the number of people who come out for the budget sessions. People are well informed. We've had some lively discussions. We had even a few demonstrations and protests in one or two of the forums, but well behaved overall. I think that it provides me with insight into the motivation, the priorities, and the concerns of our residents, and it helps me to formulate our budgets. There are two concerns overall. One, the sort of consistency of things that you see over and over again, which reminds us the priorities of Montgomery County. Education, for example, is generally at the top of the list. You hear about public safety, transportation, those things are consistent. But in the last 3 or 4 years, for example, libraries have been a very dominant issue with people coming out expressing their concerns about libraries and the priorities for libraries. Not only do libraries provide a cultural outlet, they are very valuable in terms of education, but one of the very strong things that people miss is that libraries play an important part in the business development, especially for small businesses. Job opportunities for people in terms of those who want to seek and find jobs. Libraries become that depository of places where they want to go, and they want to provide services and resources in the budget to ensure the libraries remain at the top. Then, of course, depending on what areas you're in the county, some things may come up more importantly for some. For example, density may be a big problem in the places like Bethesda and Silver Spring. The challenges, for example, in the East County in terms of providing a very strong social network for those who are been left behind to some degree, and other issues in other parts of the county. Environmental factors may impact some of the portions of North County. So we hear all of those things, and we have to try to respond to as many of them as possible, not only in terms of the short term, but the long term as well. How do we set a budget out that will be sufficient, sustainable going forward?
You started the year once again with another deficit. It's been the trend pretty much ever since you've been in office, and roughly $138 million. Is
Right.
that still going up?
Well, it depends. For example, if we're fortunate, we do not have as much snow as we've had in the past, we may get a little bit of break. It depends on what happens in Annapolis. Snow, for example, it costs the county almost $1 million for every inch of snow. There are over 5,000 lane miles of roads that we have to cover in Montgomery County. That's an enormous amount of road, and we try to respond as quickly, as efficiently as possible to resolve the challenges we find with snow and ice. So if the weather's good, it may keep that number down a little bit. If the weather's bad, it goes up. If something happens in Annapolis that causes a little bit of anxiety, it could happen to us in Montgomery County in terms of our budget. So the budget right now is an estimate of what we think might happen, but those factors need to be played out over a period of time. So right now, that number remains somewhat consistent, but it can change overnight. But keep in mind that in my years, we've solved over $3.3 billion in budgetary shortfalls in this county over a period of time. 1 year was almost $1 billion alone. And so we are accustomed to dealing with these challenges. I just happened to come into office and to assume the executive leadership at the time of the worst recession in 75 years in the county. But we've been able to manage through very well, maintaining our AAA bond rating, fighting through government closures, sequestrations, and a lot of other challenges that have happened to us over the period of time. But we maintain the AAA bond rating. Our reserves have gone up. We've responded to a lot of challenges, and I hope and believe that we'll be able to respond to this one as well.
And your concerns while you're in the midst of getting this budget ready for County Council?
Our concerns about the deficit at the state level, whether or not they will make any changes. Our concerns about making sure we reached our objectives as it relates to state revenue. Our concerns about the ongoing labor contract negotiations that we're engaged in. Those are concerns for us at this point in time, but we try to manage through those as best we can.
You did announce recently your capital budget for construction across the county, and there were a couple items that, obviously it did cover a whole lot of infrastructure in redevelopment in the county, but there were a couple of items, close to $2 billion for MCPS school construction, about 4 new schools, 22 additions, and 11 school renovations in the next, from 17 to 22. You want to talk about that?
Well, the schools are an important component of Montgomery County. We believe that we need to respond to 2 things that many jurisdictions are not facing throughout the state of Maryland and around the country. On one hand, we see tremendous growth in our system. We're up close to 160,000 students thereabout in Montgomery County today. And we have some levels of overcrowding, so we need to find places where we can expand and provide additions to schools or even build new schools altogether. In addition to that, we need to deal with some of the old schools in terms of maintenance. So we are fighting a challenge of maintenance, that is to maintain existing schools, to make repairs, as well as provide capacity, that is space for newer schools. And as a result of that, we are really fighting on 2 fronts because many other systems around the state are not growing as fast as Montgomery County. We've had a growth of well in excess of 2,000 students per year for the last 6 or 7 years, and that is projected to continue for another 4 or 5 years. So it's a great deal of addition to our system, as well as the fact that we have a lot of wear and tear on the existing schools that we have in the county.
State assistance, this was something that you advocated for very proactively last year in Annapolis. Is that something you will do again this year?
Oh yes, we continue to fight in Annapolis for a portion of that, but keep in mind, when you look at that overall number that you just described, the state support of that is a relatively small amount. The great part of that really comes from the taxpayers here in Montgomery County.
We're going to talk about that session in Annapolis and what your priorities will be for this year. But first, let us take a short break. We'll be right back with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. Stay tuned.
Here's your chance to save money and help the environment. Bring your reusable bag when you shop and you'll save 5 cents for every store bag you don't need. Retailers in Montgomery County charge 5 cents for the plastic or paper bags they provide. Why? Because plastic bags are the biggest single source of stream and waterway litter, causing pollution and flooding. And every year, Montgomery County spends $3 million on cleanup. So do yourself and the environment a favor. Bring your reusable bag when you shop, you'll fight litter and keep the change.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Hey, mister! Down here. You illegally passed the stop school bus. I'm placing you in timeout. And this timeout means big fines, plus you really could have hurt somebody. That's why school buses are being equipped with video cameras to help kids like me stay safe. So respect the bus.
Hello and welcome back to 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. Mr. Leggett, before we went to the break, you were talking about Annapolis school construction funding from the state. The legislative session is underway right now. And what are some of your priorities for this particular year?
Well, first of all, I always think when the General Assembly is in session, that you do no harm. That is, don't
As
do
quiet as
anything
you can,
harmless.
right?
That's right. That's the first thing. And then the second, of course, would be to try to get some additional support for the things that are priorities in Montgomery County. We continue to have tremendous challenges related to transportation and transit. The governor's recent announcement for increases for Metro is a welcome sign for us. Metro has had a number of challenges in terms of maintenance and safety and reliability, and we need to get those behind us, because if you look at Montgomery County, the red line in many ways is the lifeblood for us in terms of transit need. A good part of our development, good part of our growth is around the red line. And so if that red line is not working efficiently, effectively, we don't have the reliability, and there are safety concerns resulted as a result of that, that hurts Montgomery County. And so I'm glad to see that the governor has provided some additional support to help brace up the system overall. But we need a long-term solution, and I commend the general manager for the efforts that he's made in terms of safety. We need to continue those because we need this system. So transportation, transit especially, is a huge item for Montgomery County. We talked earlier about school construction. It's a big item for us, and we have a great deal of monies that are on the table in Annapolis to help us with our school construction and maintenance challenges in the county. We have challenges related to helping the most vulnerable within our community. I'm concerned, for example, about what happens with the Affordable Care Act and how that may impact us from the federal level right down to the state level. So when you look at it, school construction, maintenance, and enrollment challenges, additional support from the state on transportation, and help for the most vulnerable in our midst are the things that are probably at the top of the list for us in Annapolis.
You spoke about the red line. How about that purple line?
Yes.
What's the latest on that one?
Well, I hope that we are moving out of a contentious legal battle that we've had over the last few months that delayed at least our movement forward on that. I believe that the state and the county and others and the federal government have responded quite well to the judge's concerns about the impact of other challenges in the system impacting the purple line in terms of ridership. I believe that the response that has been provided sufficiently answers the questions that the judge has raised. With that, I'm hopeful that we will get back on track with the purple line, and be able to move forward, because when you delay this system, delay the process, then also ultimately it could cost additional monies.
Recently, County Council approved Bill 1216, increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour for the year 2020. And you expressed yourself in disagreement with this in a certain way, because the bill did not include certain things that you preferred to see. What is your position on this, and how is this going to move forward, if?
Well, first of all, I have not heard hardly anyone on the county council say that they're against moving to a $15 minimum wage. The problem for us is how long does that take? What are the circumstances and conditions that get us there? What are the exemptions and other challenges that must be at least evaluated in order for us to move forward? In 2013, for example, we had a unanimously approval of an increase that now provides, at least with the exception of the District of Columbia, one of the highest minimum wages in the entire nation here in Montgomery County. We were joined by members of the Prince George's County Council, as well as the City Council in Washington, D.C., and we unanimously approved it in Montgomery County with a signing ceremony where everybody was in agreement. Now, we've moved from that to the most recent challenge of only having a 5-4 vote, which means that there are 4 people on the council and others, especially within the business community, the small business community especially, that have some concerns, and they go around several things. One, have we properly analyzed this to make sure that we understand the impacts to Montgomery County? Secondly, is this too soon? Can we get there by 2020 for some of the business in Montgomery County? And should there be more exemptions to that? So my response to that, given the limitations of what I can do as an executive, would be to say that, yes, I want to move toward 15, but not in this manner. And I'm going to give you some outlines of proposals as to how I think we should get there, and allow the county to council to look at those and see whether or not we could come up with an ultimate resolution that I think more people can support.
And that outline would be?
It will include some exemptions for youth, some exemptions
youth? For
yeah,
youth?
for youth, some exemptions for small businesses. It will include a later start time for all of our businesses in Montgomery County, and of course a study to look at some of those impacts. So the impacts are important because if you think about it, we provide an array of services in Montgomery County that help many of the very same people that we're talking about. But if we are not able to respond to that, there's a huge cost to the county as well. Just in development disabilities alone, there's a huge impact over the next few years of tens of millions of dollars that the county will have to pay in order to meet this objective. And that doesn't include others who rely upon the county for support and assistance in order to meet the $15 minimum wage.
So your advice to county council is?
My advice to them is go back and fix those things.
Fix
I mean,
all-
if they want my support for it. Now, they may decide that they don't want my support and that they are satisfied with where they are, and then we'll have to cross that bridge once we get to it.
Okay. Let's talk about a recent partnership between the county and the National Association of Counties to provide healthy living for many county residents. This is a happier note. This is providing county residents additional care for dental services and vision and so forth. And you just mentioned a potential concern about Affordable Care Act, what would happen with it in health in the county. Is this, it's obviously a supplement for many folks in residents in the county. Do you think that we're going to need more of it in the future?
Unfortunately, we might. I hope that the Affordable Care Act could have provided greater support for prescription drugs, that the federal government could have, in effect, bargained for a greater level of support, thereby using the power of the entire federal government to help drive down prices and give our residents a better deal. But there are some other options that are out there that can achieve not all but some of the purposes, and one of which is being part of the National Association of Counties, that is unified with a broad array of residents around the nation that will provide for an opportunity to get lower prices for dental care and for some elderly care components that people need here and there, hearing aids and some other things that they need. This is a method for us to provide some relief for our residents, and I think that there's a wonderful opportunity for us using that pool that is included therein, expanding what we already do to the dental area and a few other areas. And so it's just one other mechanism to help give people better choices and lower prices for a variety of health needs.
Mr. Leary, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. We'll return in just a minute.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Are you sure they can recycle us, Clamshell?
Hey, Dome, we're on a new recycling postcard.
I can't wait to make a new start. Maybe I'll be a red carpet at a big premiere.
And I'll get to paint the White House.
Shh, here he comes.
Now you can recycle more plastics in Montgomery County, including #1 PET plastics such as clamshells, deli containers, trays, lids, domes, and cups.
We're in!
For more information on recycling, contact the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311. The wait is over. Recycle more plastics today.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
message about protecting your pipes and ours from WSSC.
Hello and welcome back to 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. Mr. Leggett, we're in the last segment of the show. Let's talk about liquor control and the fact that at the end of the year you recommended to transform it into the private-public partnership, kind of like the model for economic development. What does it stand right now as far as the leadership precisely of this new entity?
Well, the legislation before the General Assembly at this point in time, we've had a public hearing about it thus far. There will be some additional components of the bill looked at by the members of the General Assembly. I have to make some decisions about directions and whether or not this is the right time for us to fully engage the authority, but it's the direction I think we should ultimately go, especially when we look at the alternatives to complete privatization. We have made a number of changes and getting a new directive from the private sector. We've made a number of other changes in terms of how the operation are conducted, and I think once you see those operations and you see the number of changes that have been made, you'll see that for the people who are concerned about efficiency, effectiveness, and concerned about having this work in the way that you see in many other places of private entity, we've already made those changes. And so the need to go to a full privatization, thereby losing for the county somewhere well in excess of $30 million, and compared to the challenge that we face, I don't think are justified. And so we need to give those new operational changes an opportunity to work, the new leadership team that we have in place an opportunity to work, and then reassess that at that point in time.
This is our first 101 of 2017, and we always have to ask, what are some of your goals for this year, especially when it comes to seniors, senior housing? There were the opening of a couple of complexes at the end of last year, but seniors in particular.
Well, first of all, seniors, we treat them with dignity and respect, and one of the
Which,
things
by the way, the senior age is really young in Montgomery County. I think I am a senior officially in Montgomery County.
Yeah, but overall, when you look at Montgomery County, we have one of the oldest populations in the region. And so our senior population is growing quite rapidly in Montgomery County. That's a wonderful indication that people like to stay here, live here, and make sure that they retire here. But in order to ensure that when you cover 500 square miles, all the diversity of needs that we have in the county, we need to find additional ways in which to do that. One of which is housing. We have rapidly tried to move to provide more housing options for seniors, not only in terms of ensuring that there are more options for them, but those who want to actually age in place, because we have a program now that will provide some tax credit for people who can retrofit their homes in such a way that they can better age in place in their home. In addition to that, transportation is a challenge for our seniors, and we've provided in the last few budgets additional resources to help provide transportation options by giving lower discount credit to seniors that may want to ride on the ride-on or take the cab, ride along, those kinds of things, ride assistance for seniors. Those are some of the things that we're working on. So the big challenge for us, housing, making certain that we provide the kind of help and support, in-home assistance that people need, and transportation issues that impact seniors across the board.
When we talk about seniors, we always have to talk about youth as well. It's the counterbalance. As you prepare this budget, do you foresee any cuts or maybe increments on the positive youth initiatives after school?
I don't anticipate that. My real concern is that we have not grown the program for positive youth initiatives as rapidly given the success that we've had. But because of the many budgetary challenges that we face, we have not been able to grow it as rapidly as we want to. And so we have a sort of incremental growth, one center per year, more or less, not the rapid growth that we wanted that we've expressed in the past. But that's due primarily to budgetary constraints that we have. But in order to ensure that we provide the kind of wholesome outlets for our seniors and for all the young people, we need greater use of our recreational space. Gabe Albanos has done a terrific job with the programs, and we need to provide him with these greater support in order to expand the after-school programs.
Since you mentioned Gabe and recreation, one of the fun events that took place as we seal 2016 here in the county was a big event where the 4 Olympians that reside in Montgomery County were celebrated at the Civic Center. That was Katie Ledecky, Jack Conger, Ashley Nee, and also Helen Morales. She wasn't present, but she is a county resident. That was a fun event.
It really was, and I think it was an opportunity, especially for our young people, the number of young people who showed up, opportunity to take a photograph with them, to engage with them, but also for to let the Olympians know that we recognize the great sacrifices that were made, not only for them, for their families, because their families participated, went along on many of the trips, sacrificed financially, and also that for them to have a chance to thank the county, because many residents throughout the county helped supported them in their endeavors. And it was a fun opportunity for all of us to come together to say thank you for the tremendous amount of work that they've accomplished, the number of medals. If you look at the number of medals that the United States obtained, somewhere around 13 or 14% of them came right out of Montgomery County alone. This county right alone provided over 14% of all of the medals and a great deal of gold as a result of that. So we are very proud of the accomplishments. We believe that it sets a right tone for our young people and an opportunity for the county, our residents all to come together, just simply say thank you and congratulate them.
Mr. Leggett, you know, I also host the Spanish language radio show here in the county, and we've been talking about two recruitment campaigns that have been happening in the county. One, the Department of Corrections. They're hiring not only correctional officers, but also people that can serve in the food industry and so forth for the county correction. And Right On bus operators.
Yeah.
Right On is seeking to hire approximately 100 new operators in 2017. Messages for the community about the fact that there are jobs available in
There
Montgomery
certainly
County. There are jobs.
There are jobs in Montgomery County, and we would love to have a diverse workforce, and especially we need officers in our correctional system. We need additional staff that I think represents the great level of diversity, and so please apply. I mean, it's a good opening for people in Montgomery County. This is a wonderful place in which to work. The benefits, when you compare them to other places, I think are exceptional, and I think you'll have a great deal of fun and build a wonderful career right here in Montgomery County. So please apply across the board, any and everybody, but especially those who come with multiple languages in their background or experiences. They can make a wonderful addition to our county.
Thank you, Mr. Leggett. Well, good luck with that
Thank you.
operating budget.
Thank you.
March 15th is your due date. That's when your homework needs to be completed.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Leggett. And for you watching, do remember, visit montgomerycountymd.gov for any further information. I am Lorna Virgili, and thank you for joining us.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
In Montgomery County, we have a goal to reduce waste and recycle 70% of all waste by 2020. By recycling and reducing waste, we save natural resources and make our community even better. So recycle at home, work, school, everywhere, and keep recycling going. For more information, call the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311 or visit montgomerycountymd.gov/recycling.
Keep it going.
Recycle more now.